In this lesson, we will create eye bones. So this is really straightforward. We just want to make sure that as we rotate the eyes, they do not leave their sockets. So this is checked by simply going to the eye itself and rotating that around just to make sure that it's at the right pivot point. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and press F3 to take a look at things in textured mode. Alright, from here, we'll go to Tools, Manage Layers, and let's go ahead and unfreeze our model layer. We'll now go ahead and grab the left eye. Let's go ahead and grab our rotate gizmo with the E key, and we'll start to move this around. And as you can see, it is in its socket. It does have the correct pivot. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the opposite eye. Beautiful. Now, if you notice that the eye was leaving its socket, well, here's how you can fix it. You can head over to your hierarchy panel. Let's choose Effect Pivot Only. You can see how the gizmo changes slightly, just letting us know we're in pivot mode. At that point, I'll go ahead and grab the Move tool so we can start to move this pivot. And what I'll do is actually just shift it just slightly. From here, let's go ahead and turn off pivot mode. And I'm going to go ahead and start to rotate just to show you the problem here. You can see how drastic of a change this is, even though I've only moved the pivot point very slightly. So to correct this, it's just a matter of going back to pivot mode and choosing Center to Object. Now watch, when we turn off pivot mode, as we start to rotate this eye, you can see it's just fine. Great, so now when we create our eye bone, we can snap to that same pivot point and we'll be good to go. Let's say we move over to our left view. So go back to our orthographic side view. I like to create the bone objects from here, just so we can make sure that they are created straight by snapping to our grid. So we'll now choose Create Bones, we'll press the S key, and we'll go ahead and snap to our grid. So now we have a very clean looking bone object. At this point, we'll go ahead and right click to exit bones mode. We'll go ahead and press the S key to disable snapping so we can move back to our perspective view. Now we can grab the eye root, press Shift A, so we can work with Quick Align, and we'll Quick Align over to the left eye. Now if we were to press F3 to go back to wireframe mode, you can see the pivot point of our eye bone is exactly where we want it to be. Let's go ahead and rename it. That's going to be BNLI01. Alright, now we can go ahead and copy this name and use it to rename our nub. So we know that the nub will have a prefix of VE. Alright, great. Let's say we go ahead and work on mirroring this across. What we'll do is head back to Tools, Manage Layers, and we'll go ahead and freeze our model layer again so we don't accidentally select any geometry. Now, we'll grab our root, and here's what we'll do. Instead of working with local mode, let's go ahead and switch to world mode so we can take a look at our world units. So this is what we need to use to mirror this over successfully. So we don't necessarily have to use this mirror tool in this case. There's no weird slant in this bone that would cause us to have to use that mirror tool. So now that we know the axis that we need to mirror across and what value we need to work with, here's what we'll do next. We'll go ahead and grab our two bone objects and we'll press Ctrl V. And we'll clone them as copies. We'll choose OK and we'll move them over just slightly. Now we can go back to the original root. Go ahead and copy its x-axis value. And now we can go ahead and grab the cloned root, paste, and we want to use the reciprocal. So we'll use the negative operation in front of this value. When we hit enter, take a look, it has been mirrored successfully. Alright, great. Let's say we go ahead and grab our two roots and make sure to link to the bone that should control them, which is, of course, our head bone. And now, grabbing the head bone, let's go ahead and press the Q key to use our select tool to do that so we're not working with the link tool. We don't want to accidentally link to the wrong object. So with our head bone selected, we'll press Control Page down to grab the entire hierarchy. And now we can Alt right click and choose Freeze Transform to clean up those transforms. Our last step is to go ahead and rename the right eye. So let's go ahead and make sure to rename that chain. Instead of L, we're using R. And we'll make sure to use a suffix of 01. So I'll go ahead and copy that and use it to rename the nub, and we are now good to go. Alright, so that finishes out this lesson. In the next lesson, we're ready to work on our arms.